I need to speak.
One more time, I'll give you the,
There is an answer in
I'll give
here.
you the opportunity to answer one more time.
There is an answer in here. Yes,
Did you bring evidence of the financial statement?
I want to speak.
Say
I'm
your
on the
piece.
agenda to speak.
You're on the agenda to provide the council with financial evidence is what you're on the
No,
agenda
to do an
for.
update.
Okay? Give us what you got.
Number one, this is the update. Mr.
Hang on a
Craig,
second, time out. We have an issue with, if we can have her take a step back. I understand you want to be in front of her. If you want to step back behind the chief there, so she can catch you on camera, but I don't want anybody in front of the chief other than the person speaking, please.
Richard
No,
Craig,
I don't think you understand what I just asked you. Can you step back behind the chief? If you want to be on camera, you have to step back behind the chief as well.
Richard Craig, architect, called the Bowler Fund this morning with the following updates. He asked that the citizens of Harper be reminded of the effectiveness of support, not chronic hindrance, by communities that support historic preservation. Peabody, Sedan, and Lucas. 20 years ago, Rosalea Hostetler frequently visited Peabody and Sedan, creating awareness for historic preservation and its value to a community. She often visited with the early supporters with the vision and wrote about the early fledgling preservation endeavors of Peabody and Sedan in the Prairie Connection. Craybill Architects and England Engineering are proceeding rapidly with the preparation of the drawings and specifications for stabilization. They are about 50% complete at this time. When completed, they will be given to Farha Construction for their stabilization specs and quote. Brent England is preparing a safety zone for Rosalea Hostetler to enter and retrieve necessary items. She will sign a release of liability with the city of Harper. The Bomber Fund's payment for these professional services is between the nonprofit organization and the business involved. It is in no way concerns of the city of Harper. Number two, the Bomber Fund prefers to deter litigation by asking the city of Harper to quit interfering immediately with these stabilization plans by removing the portable fence around the hotel, removing the padlocks from the west door and the backyard gate, and letting the contractors work without interference, and to cease all fraudulent actions. And in addition, to let the Bomber Fund retrieve items from the hotel without interference. Any volunteers workers will sign the release of liability statement. If these requests are not met, preparation is currently underway with the Association of Honest Attorneys to file a notification of pending litigation against the city of Harper for illegally targeting and torturing of innocent Americans. Signed, Rosalea Hostetler. I will give each of you on the council, you each may have a copy of what I just read. And we have the paperwork ready to file. A notification of pending litigation. And I have another.
Thank you. So, basically, you do not have any form of financial evidence that we can go into the executive
You
session.
write everything
Okay.
down that you want answered for our attorneys.
Okay.
You write it down for our attorneys. I am not answering. You write it down for
Okay,
our
thank you.
attorneys.
Thank you. With that being said, I wasn't here at the last meeting. By my understandings, that the council and the acting mayor at the time had given her till the this meeting to provide this information. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong?
That's correct.
We have 2 current bids as of right now. Legitimate bids as far as I'm concerned. Is that correct? I mean, it's only up to the council as of right now. We need to take one step or take a step the other way. I mean, we're at that point right now. We give the ultimatum at the last meeting. The ultimatum wasn't met. So, I mean, you have 1 or 2 things you can do. We can go ahead and award the contract, or we can do like she just said and take down the fence and just ignore the whole situation.
I feel like we were fair in asking for the documents proving that they had the funds available. There wasn't any controversy at the time
Okay.
when we requested that.
Any other comments from the council?
My thought, Mr. Mayor, is whether or not we should go into executive session, allowing Chief Murphy and Mrs. Hostetler to be involved in that. And see what it would take to get those financial.
She just pretty much said we have to get it right, and I think we've already done that. We've already requested that, and we was just told it was none of our business. What is our business, though, is we have a structure that is an imminent danger to, and as far as that goes, to the buildings next to it, which, I mean, it's one of the deals where if it was a situation that needs to go a little further, I mean, that whole block of 3 buildings need to be sealed off as well. And I know that the other 3 buildings, all 3 have tenants in them at this current time. I mean, real honestly, I mean, that's. I mean, because we can do the same thing again, and then next week we'll get the same letter from the Balmer Fund as well, and then we're right back in the same boat as we was tonight. A situation where it needs to be done before winter falls.
It's my understanding in scuttlebutt talk that the engineers were here. And Chief, did you get any back brief on them as far
I
as?
haven't got anything back from them. They were here. It had been raining the night before and the day that they were here. Previous order from the council was that nobody would be allowed inside while it was raining or during periods of high wind. There wasn't any wind, but there was rain, and so I let them take measurements on the outside, but did not allow them inside to take measurements. They didn't know when they'd be back, but I know Bill let them in, and they were here for 2 or 3 hours taking measurements. As the enforcing officer, it would be my recommendation to proceed forward at this point. We didn't ask for donor information or anything else. We just asked to show that there was sufficient funds to conduct the stabilization, which her own engineer said it was going to be approximately $250,000, and that's what the council said at the last meeting was a showing of $250,000. We didn't take the higher bid of her estimate of $300,000 to $500,000, trying to accommodate in that manner. But there's not even been a showing that there's an actual contract with Crable, with the contractor contractors or the engineers. And absent that, I don't think the city has any option other than to proceed forward and avoid any further stalling of action. And you're going to be running out of time shortly with the bids. And with the bids already having been opened and a matter of public record, it would be unfair to the two contractors to put it off and have a bid process again.
My only concern on it, Mr. Mayor, is I believe we've acted in good faith. I said that in the last meeting. I believe that we have not received even a fraction of financial abilities to proceed forward with the revolving fund. I also am torn with the aspect that we agreed to allow the architect inside the building, and due to the inclement weather, no fault of their own, that wasn't able to be happened. And I understand that the contractors have put in a lot of time and effort in making this good faith showing with the bids. So, sir, I'm kind of torn right now as to which direction to proceed to.
How can we be 50% complete with the drawings if they didn't, or able to get access?
Well,
It came later.
They did come later.
You let them in later, right?
We went inside the fence, and then I did open the door, and they just took a picture inside the doors all.
So they didn't actually go inside.
No.
So what drawings could it be?
yeah, I mean, it's, and you can do, like I said, you guys can do one or two things. Either let's get going this direction, or back the other direction. I mean, this fence is getting kind of narrow. We're walking right here, guys. Can you get off the fence?
Well, I'd like to go into executive session.
Can't.
We did
There's
this
no-
before,
For what?
for what I would like to go into executive session again for.
What's the?
It was acquisition or something.
Okay.
The acquisition of personal property.
Something like that.
No.
What are we going to do for?
They can ride my spit. They just a one or so. Hugh, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
What was the, your estimated, I'm not gonna hold you to any number or anything, but your estimated number of tonnage?
Around 600, 700 pounds.
700 tons, so I'll go off from high number 700. Okay.
That was the direction I started everything. That's what I was starting. Okay.
Okay.
You, can I share our conversation?
Or
Can I share our conversation outside? Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I would point out also after the last meeting, I visited with Mr. Harper about, the question was raised about the historical value of some of the items in there. He said it was his intent not to salvage. He was just going to haul it all off, and he was willing to make arrangements with the Bomber Fund that if they had some place that stuff could be moved and placed so that they could go through it and salvage the historical stuff, he was willing to do that. But that, I would recommend, be with consideration that it be indoor storage, not yard storage. And I don't know what she would have available to her, but someplace outside of Harper, so that we don't have to deal with the problem again if it arises. But he was willing to do that in an effort to help salvage anything of historical value. Papers, books, whatever.
we're waiting on a motion here.
Fine.
You're fine. You're fine. Hello, you.
Is Pearson Construction here also?
Motion to recess an executive session pursuant to the KSA 75-4391B exemption relating to acquisition of real estate property. Open meeting to resume at chambers at 7:12 p.m. With Tiffany, do we need anybody else? Okay, yeah, that's fine.